I think that artificial intelligence is the real threat, the real foreigners, the real immigrants, the real aliens. I think that the mainstream media likes to divert our attention away from the things that really matter, that are the real threat to us. And they have us focus on other things that, on a certain level, to a certain degree, they do make sense, but nonetheless, they don't threaten us as much as the bigger agenda that they're attempting to divert our attention away from, like artificial intelligence. I think they're the real aliens, not immigrants. I wouldn't say they're aliens. They are foreign, illegal, and I think that all illegals should be deported to their country of origin and respect every country's regulations, but nonetheless, I wouldn't say they're aliens. I think they're called aliens by the conservatives to divert our attention away from the real aliens. Isn't Marco Rubio and other conservatives being outspoken? Aren't they talking more about aliens? Isn't there like a mission called Atlas 21 or something? Don't they have a documentary coming out about aliens and all this spiritual UFO stuff? Because nowadays you have mainstream media talking more about this stuff. They're displaying more UFO videos from people all around the world saying that they've spotted UFOs or flying objects that defy the classical laws of physics. They're at a certain position one moment, then another moment they're all of a sudden gone. Instantaneously. They display quantum mechanical activity, a paranormal activity. That is activity that isn't normal, it's para. The prefix para means alongside, above, beyond, after. So these objects come from dimensions that are alongside our dimension, our physical third dimension. We can't see them because of our five senses. Thus, you have New Age spiritual religions that coexist world religion that they're trying to get us into, that promote and that purport to the so-called third eye. Open your pineal gland, open your third eye, and you'll have extra sensory perceptions. Maybe, just maybe, you might be able to see this type of stuff. Because if you have your normal five physical senses could sense common sense, everyday physical reality. So if you have extra sensory, that means you could sense extra things. That is extraterrestrials from extra dimensions. If we are terrestrial, then what are extraterrestrials? If we live in the third dimension, in our material, physical third dimension, then extraterrestrials live in their extra dimension, immaterial, non-physical dimension, whose activity resembles quantum mechanics, the type of activity that Albert Einstein called spooky. He said it in German, but if you translate it to English, it means spooky, because it defied the laws of classical physics. And we're talking about the quantum realm, the smallest of the smallest realms. You know, CERN, on their website, they talk a lot about, we want to find the building blocks of matter, nanoparticles, subatomic particles, the fundamental building blocks of matter, they say. So they want to go into the ether, into the spiritual realm, into the microscopic realm. A lot of people say to to get better at your mental anxiety, you got to focus on the outside, on the things that you could control, on the things that you can see on reality. Introverted people tend to have mental anxiety. They tend to go a little bit crazy because, well, you're focused on things that you can't really have a calculation on. You're a human, you're finite. You have to contain certain subjects, certain matters. And so quantum mechanics isn't the extroverted material physical plane. It's similar to introvertedness. You're inside your head. And that's whenever things begin to happen, because you can't control anything. Your thoughts could go one way or the other. So where are these spirits, these entities, deities coming from? They're foreign, they're immigrants, and they're aliens. Not only do they not know American culture like illegal immigrants, but they also don't know human culture. And they're not even for us, they're against us. They're, if not the same, they're the closest thing to the eye on top of the pyramid, depicted in the back of our US dollar bill. The eye of Horus, the eye of Ra, the eye of Lucifer, the third eye, the spiritual eye, the eye of enlightenment, Luciferianism, illumination. Because whenever the so-called eye is opened, or you're illuminated, you see everyone and everything as one. This idea of oneism, singularity. You're one with the universe. You're one with everybody, all the plants, all the animals, everybody. Only one race, only one universe. No borders, no boundaries, only one religion, only one sex. Only one currency, only one political ruler. Only one gender. It goes back to that ancient occult saying, as above, so below, as the soul, so the universe, as within, so without. It's basically the Tower of Babel, to become one or to equate yourself with God. To not see anything as separate from you, but to see them as an extension of you. That's basically the idea purported by, from quantum mechanics, quantum physics. In the quantum realm, that's the principles they go by. Everything is fluid, non-binary. It's all frequency, vibrations, energy. We're all made of the same atoms, protons that stars are made of in the galaxy, in outer space. And I think that in the political arena, we're going to see things clash between Democrats and Republicans, between conservatives and liberals. For the sake of eventually we'll see one party system dictated, narrated by the Antichrist, by Lucifer. And he'll come like Superman or like Neo from the Matrix. He'll transcend, he'll supersede all of the earthly global calamities, all the pandemics that plague us. Global warming and all this other stuff. Air pollution. Climate change. Transcendence, transhumanism will be the solution. But that calls for forfeiting our human nature. That calls for us to be connected to the internet 24/7. Being micromanaged, every thought, every action, every idea, everything written, everything that we do will be recorded, monitored for the sake of combating terrorism, for the sake of eliminating anybody who's deemed or thought of being an enemy to the state. And in that case, it'll be an enemy to the New World Order. That's their idea of evolution. The idea of evolution that we all know of, that we're all taught of in school, is their idea. How they want us to be evolved, how they want us to progress. The fact that we come from monkeys and that our end goal is to be cyborgs, to be connected to technology, to artificial intelligence. That's why they're making artificial intelligence. It's because artificial intelligence doesn't have carbon. It's not a threat to their metaverse, to their human 2.0, to the internet 2.0, to their digital system that they want to make, that they want to create. That's why United Nations has this idea of eliminating your carbon footprint. Go green, go paperless, recycle, buy electric cars. And yeah, you have the Trump administration posing like they're against all this, but you have to pose. You have to pose like you're the opposing side of the Globalist party, but in all due reality, you are working for them. Globalists and anti-globalists, especially those who are put on a platform to sway public opinion as to what side you'll vote for, they're all bought out by the same globalists. Have you read Vladimir Lenin's quote? The best way to control the opposition is to lead them astray. And this technology will come about from the abyss. Look up Google Gemini. I think Gemini it goes back to the ancient idea of the Dionysus twins. And they mean the gates of Hades. So we're dealing with matter, with spirits, with substance from the abyss, from the quantum realm, from the deepest of the deepest layers, the most fundamental building blocks of matter that you can go to, the most microscopic realm. And this is how it was back in the old days, back in the ancient days, what Gnostics believed in. The occult ancients believed that matter was an accident. Why did matter form after the explosion of the Big Bang Theory? Physical reality, why did it form? It's all an accident. It's a cancer to the universe. We humans are a cancer to the universe. That's why they want us to eliminate our carbon footprint. That's why they're marketing and advertising transcendence, transhumanism, and all these movies that talk about it. Neo from the Matrix, again, was the Antichrist. Superman is the Antichrist. But Gnostics believe in transcendence. They believe in transhumanism. That is Luciferianism. Becoming one with the universe, being all-knowing, all-seeing, omnipotent, omniscient. Big Brother is watching you. That's essentially what artificial intelligence is, to monitor, record your every thought and move. Mass migration threatens nationalism. It threatens our very culture, yes. Immigrants aren't aliens. The real aliens that they want us not focused on is artificial intelligence, technology, causing mental illness, causing people to stay home. What culture will you have? What's the point of saving American culture if people don't even go out to experience American culture? If you can't hear an American accent, because all you do is stay home and listen to robots, technology. You don't taste American food. You don't go to American events. You stay home and witness everything digital, technological. Artificial intelligence is the real threat to our country, to our world, to our planet.